I think that one reason why we keep getting ourselves into toxic relationships is because there's some kind of lack in us that we acquired when we were growing up, even if we had good parents, because parents are not perfect. Or it could be that someone else caused a brokenness in our soul, and subconsciously we think that the person that we have chosen to be with now will fill that lack somehow. And so we are attracted to them because of a familiar trait that they have revealed to us. Toxic people will prey on us because of it. We find ourselves getting into the same situation repeatedly, and we wonder why. There is an underlying cause that keeps taking us there, and I think that we need to look at that cause and take responsibility for it. Not that we did anything to deserve it, but to see what part that we played in pulling these toxic people towards us. I also feel like we need to take a proactive step toward the situation. Those of you who are spiritual and believe in spiritual things, this will appeal to you. For those of you who are not, I am not sure how you're going to handle this one. You'll have to do a lot of meditations and work on that part of your life, but this is what worked for me. I love spiritual things, and I always have, even in times of my severe brokenness. I looked for the spiritual in my situation, and I figured out through a series of severe mistakes that I was relying on a man for my self-worth and to fill a void that is in my life. When the relationship was new and fresh and they were love bombing me, it was wonderful. I felt whole and well. I finally felt all right. But we all know that doesn't last. They're just putting on an act to get us hooked on them. It's just a mask. And when the real personality came out, which it always did, I would realize that they were not going to fill that need, and then I would be left feeling desperate again. I always felt it was my fault somehow, and I would ask myself, what did I do wrong? The problem was that I could not get what I needed from another human. That hurt deep down inside of me, the hole that was in my soul, came from a human, and it also came from the condition of this world that I was born into. But some of this pain was just because I'm a woman. I realized that I wasn't going to get what I needed to fill that void from another human being. It is a spiritual need. Men and women are all broken. We are all hurting in one way or another. Even if we had a great life growing up, there's something lacking in us. And the only one that's going to fill a need like that is God. We are not going to get it from another human. But we keep going from relationship to relationship, trying to fill that void. And some of us keep going to church trying to fill that void because the pastors are falling short. The people are falling short. The services are falling short. The messages are falling short. And nothing is filling that void because you're not going to get it from another human. It's going to come from God. Until we stop getting ourselves into one situation after another, trying to find someone who's going to make us feel better, it's going to continue to be a repeating pattern. And you're never going to feel better for real. It will only be temporary, and it's going to be fake. It won't be authentic. So my advice to anyone who is finally rid of a toxic person is to spend this time getting to know your Maker and allow Him to create in you who you were supposed to be in the first place before you were broken. Find out who you are. You will find that you don't need another human to make you feel whole. You can have peace and joy. You can live your life fulfilled with God alone. So then when you're out there and you meet another person who is spiritual, who also relies on God for their wholeness, the two of you will come together and it will be a beautiful union. And it won't be toxic. That's the only way you're going to find someone of the spirituality that you're looking for. Because a person who's healed and is walking with God and who has let God heal them from deep within doesn't want to spend the rest of their life with a broken person. They want to be with a healed person. I know these words are harsh, but they're true, and I learned them the hard way. The last time I was involved with a narcissist, it almost completely destroyed me. And the only reason why it didn't is because I had learned somewhere along the bumps in the road that I had traveled that I need to depend on God alone. I learned the hard way right in the middle of a messy relationship. So I'm telling you now to please let God heal you. Find out who He is, and let Him help you to find out who you are before you end up in another broken relationship. It's the only way I know to stay safe and peaceful.